So I was on the Get Good Drums forum on Facebook the other day and I came across a post from someone having trouble. The person who made the post was saying that all of the instructional videos that they could find on how to use GGD products kind of assume that you already have a certain level of familiarity with virtual instruments or GGD products, and that there aren't really any instructional videos that are more tailored to a beginner or someone who has minimal experience with virtual instruments or GGD products. So I thought today I would just start at the very beginning and try to explain how this stuff works as simply as possible. So I am going to assume that you already have Contact and your GGD library installed. It's a pretty straightforward process. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is open an instance of Contact inside your DAW. I'm in Studio One. I'm sure the process is pretty straightforward regardless of what DAW you're using. So we're just going to open an instance of Contact here, and we're just going to randomly pick a GGD library. We'll probably use a One Kit Wonder for the sake of simplicity. We'll just use Brutal here. So this is the default page of One Kit Wonder Brutal. All of the One Kit Wonders look pretty much exactly the same. But even if it's not a One Kit Wonder, they will all have this mapping page. And this is just under settings in this particular library. But here you can see all of your different drums and articulations. And so the person that made the post, one of the things that he wanted to do was use a MIDI controller to control Get Good Drums and be able to record MIDI drums with, I guess, like a keyboard or a beat pad. And this is where you would take care of that. So hopefully you can see my keyboard well enough for the purposes of this video. I know it's not the best image quality. So do you see how all of these have this little record button here? So all you want to do is hit that record button with your mouse, and then whatever key or pad you want to play that specific articulation, you just... So now this pad plays the kick. So this one, we're going to make the snare. So again, you just hit this record button and hit the desired key. Now it's playing our snare, and we just keep going through this. Rack tom, tom 2, tom 3, and let's get like a crash or something in here. So now, and that's really all there is to it. And you can do it with your keys too. So hit the record button again, we'll hit the first key. Now that's our kick. Next key, snare. And by the way, as far as I know, this is the same process for mapping like an electronic drum kit. So now that we have our parts mapped, all we really need to do is go in here and hit record, and then we can play whatever we want. So once you have a MIDI event recorded, you can usually just double click the event to open your actual MIDI performance. And this is where you would do things like edit your velocities. So if your hits are too loud or too quiet, you can adjust that. You can quantize to snap it to the grid so it's perfect. So yeah, that's a really quick way to map GGD to a MIDI device. So let's say that you're not using a MIDI device and you just want to do everything manually with the keyboard and mouse. Create a blank MIDI event and then double click the event to open your piano roll. And it's the same process here. Go to the settings page, go to your mapping options, and Studio One has this drum editor that I really like. And you can see that each one of these correlates to a note. So it's the same process. Come over here and hit this little record button, then come over here and double click on the note that you want to correspond to that articulation. So now this is our kick. Do the snare here. Let's do left crash. Let's do a right crash. So now you would just come in here and click wherever you want that specific articulation to occur. And if your DAW doesn't have a drum editor like this, you can do the same thing with just a normal MIDI piano roll. So let's get rid of this here. We'll create a blank event, open GGD back up, and we'll just start with C1. Record, C1. Snare. And it's the same thing. So yeah, that's all there really is to it. Hopefully this video sort of fills the gap between having no experience and the videos that already exist on how these products work. If you have any more questions, please let me know, and I'd be happy to try to answer them for you. Thanks for watching.